What's up, friends? Today, I'm gonna do it over again. All right, so I'm here and I'm ready to share my sourdough recipe. But disclaimer, this is not my recipe at all. I actually got it from, Preppy, you could cut it. His name's Preppy.
Preppy
Preppy Kitchen. Okay, ready? Preppy Kitchen, I love his shit.
I didn't cut any of this, by the way.
Nice. Okay, finally. The time has come. He's sitting on my face. I just saw the lens come in. But anyway, if you've been following me on Instagram, you know that I've been going ham with my sourdough making bread. You saw that I gifted it to a bunch of my friends and family. I told all of them.
Like 20 people too.
Yeah, if you're an adult, you're getting sourdough this year. And a lot of you have been sending me DMs like, what's the recipe? What's the recipe?
People have been sending you DMs, huh?
Yeah, ladies.
A married woman DMs, huh?
Yeah, from other married women that want to know how to make this.
That's true, David's a married woman.
He is a married woman. And I've been trying to make this recipe. I've been trying to make sourdough for a really long time. But if you know anything about sourdough, you know that you need this thing called a starter. This. So basically it's fermented flour and water. I'm not going to go into the science of it or how to make all of it because...
But that's what I'm here for. I'm here to learn the science about it. So I want to know the science. Go.
I'm not going to give you the science. But you need a starter to start your bread, okay?
Do you need sour fingers like yours?
No, but you need a sour heart like mine.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I didn't make my own starter because I heard it could take up to 14 days. At the time that I wanted to learn on the spot. So my girlfriend, someone that I trust dearly with my heart, gave me some of her starter, and that's what I've been using. All you have to do is feed it and it continues to grow. Again, it can get really complicated really quickly, so I don't want to go into the details. If you want to know how to make your own starter, I would say follow or just YouTube how to do it. If you don't want to make your own starter, then find someone you trust and get some from them. So that's going to be your very first step. Also, I know. Also, another disclaimer is making sourdough, at least this recipe, okay, is not gonna be for someone that wants to make sourdough fast. You're not gonna make this in a day. This recipe specifically will take you about 2 days.
It's worth it though.
Thank you.
It's so good.
And it's 2 days, not of intensive labor, but it's 2 days of just letting your dough ferment, grow, rise. Like it's just, there's a lot that's happening. So that's what I want to tell you, okay? So if you
I'm trying to get the good angles. I was trying to make it epic.
I didn't know.
I was trying to do a good epic. I was trying to do an epic sourdough thing where you're like talking about sourdough while going like this, and they're like, "Whoa, it's the most cinematic sourdough I've ever seen."
Give me the heads up. I would have done that.
I thought you were smart, but you're just sour.
Well, anyway, so I yeah, I don't know where you're going now. So I'm showing you how I fed my starter in these next clips. Since I don't bake a lot, I do leave my starter in the fridge, but I do pull it out to feed the morning that I will be making bread. You're going to need all-purpose flour, filtered water, a spurt or a chopstick, which I prefer, and a food scale. Here is my sleeping starter, and as you can see, before feeding, it's at the 400 line. Before you bake, you want to make sure that you have an active starter that's ready to produce a yummy tasting sourdough, which means it needs to eat. Okay, so let's feed our starter. Turn on your scale, make sure your units are at grams. So you want to put your little buddy here. You want to tare it, because right now it's measuring everything we just put on it, but we just want it to measure what we will be adding to it. So right now it's included all this weight, and anything new is what it's going to be adding. So that's what tare is. Open this up. We're going to put, at least I am, I'm going to put 100 grams. I do a 1:1 ratio. Damn it, I goofed and I forgot to record, but let her rip. Perfect. We're gonna add 100 grams. grams of water. Let it settle a bit. Every scale is different. Some calculate fast, some calculate slow. Okay. Now we want to mix with a chopstick.
As I mix, I make sure that all the dry flour gets mixed in and looks like a slightly thicker pancake batter, like this. All done feeding my starter, and use the rubber band to mark the new starting point, which will help me keep track of its progress.
Okay, so this is after 1 hour. Not much, just a little bit. Something's happening. Bubbles are forming. Okay, so this is now after 2 hours. And as you can see, we are now at 600. There's a lot of bubbles happening. Here now, you can see it. My house is pretty cold right now. It's mid 60s. Whoa, this is after 4 hours. Okay, this is 6 hours later. And it looks like it's still going a little bit. That's crazy. Remember, we started off here, so now I'm ready. Crazy. So as you saw, your starter can grow pretty rapidly. Also, it's also gonna depend on climate, where you live, sunlight. Like, I'm telling you, there's a million ways to make sourdough, so don't get too strung up or discouraged if you're like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I guarantee you, if you follow this recipe, you will have success. Because I've had nothing but success with this recipe. It isn't the shortest.
Nothing but success?
Is that incorrect?
You've had some.
Oh, fine. But I was doing a different recipe,
No,
and
I'm
I
just
didn't
kidding.
know
They're
all
all
the.
good. They're all good.
Because there's so much science. Okay,
Yeah.
so when I
That's
do
what I'm here
this,
for. What's the science again?
I'm not gonna tell you the science because I don't know the science.
Oh.
But there is a lot of science to it that I don't fully grasp yet because I've only been making it for a couple months. But like I said, I've
And what
had
did you get
success.
in chemistry in high school?
I didn't even take chemistry.
So
Okay.
you probably don't grasp it.
Enough to fucking make something edible. Okay.
All right, fine.
All right. Okay. So you're making me lose my train of thought, and I don't like it.
What'd you get in English?
So in the video that I just showed you, I did use this. However, that same day that I did it, because you want to let it sit out in room temperature for about 6 hours for it to grow and do its thing, I ran out of time. Okay, so just remember, you're gonna be a slave to this recipe, but not like a crazy working slave 24/7, but you definitely have to tend to it kind of like a little Tamagotchi. You know what I'm saying? I heard they're coming back. So
You
we're
just
gonna
dated yourself.
They are coming back. Okay, so pretend this rose, but I actually did another little starter, okay? So give me a second, cut it. You look at me, you didn't cut it. Okay, so I've had this one, and as you can see, it's grown. So we're good.
Oh, why is it
Yeah,
so jiggly like that?
because it's good. I don't know. It's science.
Oh, it smells great.
It's science. So what I did is I got a little bit of my starter that I just showed
Put
you.
it down here so I can see
Oh,
better.
yeah.
That
And
thing
you
looks
guys
cool.
saw it rise.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That
So
thing's
again,
cool.
I changed the containers. This is just a brand new day. So now this is where the fun begins. So we're going to need a scale. You need a scale. You can find some of these measurements in cups and whatever, but I just like to be as precise as possible. So I go based off of grams. So we're gonna start with a bowl, and you want a pretty good size bowl. This is kind of like the size of my head, so you do want to start with something kind of the size of your head. You don't
That's a
want
big
anything.
bowl then.
Yeah, it is a big bowl. If it's your fat ass head.
All right.
So you put it on your scale. You always want to tear it. I don't know if you know about tearing, but it's gonna.
Everyone does.
Okay, fine. You know how how to tear it. So you're gonna grab 120 grams. I don't ever trust myself, even though I know these steps by heart. I don't trust myself, so I have my notes here, okay? We're gonna get 120 grams of starter. So you just scoop it on out.
Whoa, that thing's cool.
I know, it
looking.
looks crazy. It's not the cutest. It doesn't look very Very delicious, but trust me, the
It does look delicious.
So right here, we're at 24 grams.
So I can see how the dough's gonna look like.
I know, you've never seen me do this.
See how the bread's gonna look like. I just eat it.
This is 52. Oh, I have enough to make 2. This is, let's see. Again, we want 120 grams. 81. You think I'll get it? Or am I gonna go over or under?
Over.
This is 111.
Didn't you say you want 100?
20. 120. We're at 124. So I do want to scoop some of it out because I do want to keep it as precise as possible. This is 118. This
Damn,
is now,
that precise?
Yes,
Holy
baking is about precision,
Holy
okay?
smokes.
Okay, so we have but we have 120 grams of your starter ready to rock and roll. This is what the healthy yeast, the healthy bacteria that's gonna help your sourdough obviously give it this sour taste, but it's also gonna help it rise. This recipe does not use any yeast or any of that stuff. That's what the starter's all about. But this part right here, what do we do with this?
Put it in your mouth.
No, no, you do not put it in your mouth, nor do you run it underneath the sink because it is dough and it will fuck up your pipes. So the only way to clean this is you get a napkin and you just clean it off, okay?
Then you put it in your mouth.
Then you put it in Bart's mouth.
Because when you eat when you do peanut butter, you always put the peanut butter in your mouth.
After you're done spreading it, right? You don't like get another scoop after, do you?
After I spread it, I always put it in my mouth.
Fine. Yeah, and then at this point you can run it under your sink or whatever. Okay, next step is we're gonna do 303 grams of 90-degree water. So it's lukewarm water, and the reason why you want it to be lukewarm.
That precise, 90?
Well, you want it to be lukewarm. So I'm giving a degree because lukewarm is relative to whoever is watching right now. So if you can stick to 90, you will have success. And again,
do you have a thermometer for this, or you just go to the
I just
touch?
know now. I just know now to the touch.
Oh, okay.
I do have a water boiler readily available. So
Ding, 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 ding.
Yep, I am kind of cheating a bit.
Every Asian household has one of these.
So I do, this is about 200 degrees, so I don't want that. So now I'm going to make it cool. And this part is very science. This is what I do.
Yeah?
This is pretty good. This is lukewarm. So it's not burning my finger, but it just feels, did you wash your hands? Fucking start bread anyway.
This is not lukewarm, that's warm. That's straight warm.
This is lukewarm.
No, that's
warm.
This is pretty warm, homie. No, that's warm, homie. That's like the beginning of a jacuzzi. Lukewarm.
There, try it. Now this is 90 degree.
That's warm still to me.
Okay, well, to me it works. So now we're gonna tear it again because we want it clear. We don't want that, so now we want 0, and we're gonna slowly dump it in. We want 303. Will I make it? And some of these scales don't calculate as quickly as this one does. I've tried several of them, and some of them do lag, so pour slowly. We're getting there, we're getting there. And if you do go over, no big deal. You could just scoop it out. Oh my God, look at it, it's almost perfect. I'm like 5 off. Excuse me, I have to get it. It's gonna bother me. I have to get it. It's probably only be like a couple drops. Oh my God, and I went over. Okay.
So 304, did you say 303? Oh, I thought you said 305.
Okay, so there's 303, there it is. So I scooped it out, dump it out.
Dump all the flour because it's gonna solidify and destroy your drain. Just
no, it's not.
Just did what you told us
no, it's
not
not. So now we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of salt. And one time I forgot the salt and it tasted, you tell me what it tasted like.
It was just bland.
Yeah.
It didn't taste bad, but it tasted like it needed salt. But
It
the
was
flavor,
like
the
chalk.
flavor was good.
It was like chalk.
But it just tasted like it needed something.
Okay, now we have our 2 tablespoons of salt. Now we're gonna add 500 grams of your bread flour, and I'm gonna show you the brand I use because everyone that I've talked to at least, I'm sure, again, thousands of different recipes out there. Just take this with a grain of salt, but I'm gonna show you the one I use because people swear by this one, okay? King Arthur. This is the one people say is really good.
What makes it so good?
I don't know, it's science.
Science?
I don't know, okay? So we're doing 500 grams. Got it?
Got it.
It's gonna take a minute.
Stuff. It's the good stuff right there.
Yep. It's the good stuff. No, the good stuff was the starter I put in there. That's the good stuff. This is the stuff that's...
Is your starter made out of King Arthur?
Yes, but for the starter, we use all-purpose flour. So find a starter recipe and look that one up because it can get complicated. Okay, so we're about 400 grams right now. 462, 490, 497, 498, 500. Put it on me though. So what's really cool about sourdough is that that's all the ingredients that it needs. It just needs a starter, flour, salt, and water. That's it. Nothing else. I mean, obviously you can get fancy and start adding your different add-ins or like the flavors you want, like cinnamon or cheese or jalapeno, whatever the heck. But for now, this is just the basic recipe. Okay, next step. We gotta mix this all together and we want to create a shaggy dough, okay?
What the hell does that mean?
Dough. You'll see what it looks like. So we wanna start it off slowly. And I like to kind of like go from the center and pull and like create space for the water to come in. And I get the edges and I pull that in and I scrape it and I fold it. So you'll see it'll start absorbing the water that you added. And you don't want to mix it completely, okay? You want all that good yeast and bacteria to start munching away on all the glucose that's in the flour that you gave it. But again, that's too sciencey. So you see how it's kind of creating strands? This is what you want. You don't want to overmix it, but you also want to get in all the dry ingredients kind of blended in there as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, it looks kind of like scrambled eggs or something.
Oh, well, it looks kind of like pasta.
You know how it looks all like stringy? It looks like scrambled eggs, like a wet scramble.
So the first error that I made when I was learning how to do this is I left a lot of this flour out there, and you don't want that. So you kind of want to...
Which one, the little residuals on the side?
Yeah, you see how it's like powder there?
Oh, you try to incorporate everything?
Yeah, so I kind of do like a push and pull, and I kind of like press it down a bit. It's not necessarily like a stirring motion that I'm doing. I'm just kind of like looking
folding it onto itself?
Yeah, I'm looking at where there's wet areas within the dough, and then I try to get that to all the dry spots. And I'm like scraping and kind of like trying to put it back into the dough here. So you see how it's kind of like taking it all in, it's kind of forming this ball, but
you know
still,
how some bakers have that spinning bowl thing? Like it goes wong, 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 wong. Can you do that with this or no?
You can, but if you're just starting, you do kind of want to do this so you could see what the stringiness looks like. So here we go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You see how there's like strings? Yeah. It doesn't look like, you can still see kind of dry flour. Yeah. This is exactly what you want it to look like. Okay? So now once you've done this, this is the part that it starts taking over your life. Because now you have to let it sit at room temperature for an hour. And you cover it. So this is kind of different from what the recipe on Preppy Kitchen recommends. He recommends like a damp towel. I live in Vegas. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I've noticed it yields a softer dough when I use just a regular shower cap. You can get these on Amazon, and I just cover it up. Ooh. So we're gonna let it sit at room temperature for an hour, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so your dough has been sitting out for an hour now at room temp, and you can already see it already looks way more wet than when we first left it. Can you smell the sour?
Let me see. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I am making 2 loaves, so if you see the other one, pretend it's not here. Now we're gonna start the folding process. You do wanna get some clean water, clean hands. You're gonna wet your hands because at this point the dough is pretty sticky. We're gonna stretch and fold, and you wanna make this super gentle, okay? So I'm gonna make it easy for you guys. So we start here, stretch, fold. Turn it 90 degrees. I'm gonna do the same thing. Stretch, fold. 90 degrees, we're gonna do this 4 times. Stretch, just gently stretch and fold. This is the 4th fold. And as you can see, it's already getting, it's already building structure. It's already getting a lot more fluffier than when we first saw it. Now, We're done. Cover it up. And in 20 minutes, we'll do another stretch and fold again 4 times with the 90 degree rotation. You're gonna do this a total of 4 times. So we already got one done.
4x4.
4x4.
Wow.
What a meathead. 4x4. So we're gonna let it rest. Hey Google, 20-minute timer.
Sure, 20 minutes. And we're starting now.
Okay, so I have 5 more minutes for my 3rd kneading, but I want you to see it starts forming like water droplets on the top. And look at the dough is already taking form. It's shaping very nicely. We are looking good. So it's gonna be knead number 3, and then you'll see what it looks like at 4. Okay, so everyone's taking a nap right now, so I don't wanna be too loud, but this is my final knead, 4th one. And look at how beautiful she looks. Perfect. So again, we're gonna do with our hands. We're gonna pick her up. Oh my Lord. Stretch and fold. Turn the bowl. Stretch. Oh my God, being so loud. Stretch and fold. Another one. Oh my God, look how beautiful this is. Stretch. And gentle stretches. I'm more tugging and fold. We want to rip this apart. One more time. Stretch, 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 and fold. Now I kind of want to make her into like a nice little ball, because now we're gonna let her rest. I don't know why it's a her. At room temperature for about 6 to 8 hours before we throw her in the fridge. So we leave her in here. The recipe, if you're following the one that I'm following, he does say get a clean bowl. I ain't trying to do dishes like that, so we leave her in the same bowl and we ignore her for about 6 to 8 hours. Okay, so now it's time to shape your dough. It's been sitting on the counter for, I wanna say roughly 7.5 hours, almost 8 hours. So it's been at room temp. Now we are going to lightly dust your counter or whatever it is you're gonna be using. I've used a cutting board before. I'm using all-purpose flour for this one. It's not bread flour. You do want to, you do want to put some flour on your hands because it will be slightly sticky, not too bad. So now we gotta take it out of here. And this part was actually the most scariest part for me because I would see, I'm like doing the worst job ever. So here it is, your dough. So this is the way that I saw it being done that was really easy for me, is you just gather the corner, bring it into the center. Gather the corner, bring it into the center. Bring it into the center. Bring it into the center. Super easy. Anyone can do this. And then you just want to pinch everything over here. Then you turn her around. And now you want to kind of imagine to shape it, you pull it towards you, against you, and you kind of like squeeze these 2 pinky fingers kind of like together, because you do want it to be a ball. This is the easiest way. There's so many methods out there. There's like the rolling, and then there's like the braiding, and there's a lot, but this was the easiest for me to do. So this is the one I'm gonna teach you. So all I'm doing is just creating a little ball. And again, my pinky fingers are kind of like tucking everything in at the bottom, and I'm just kind of like slapping that booty. You know what I mean? Feels like a nice little butt. I am gonna use, you can use a round proofing basket. I like this shape because it renders like a higher bread for me, and one that we can use for sandwiches. So you're gonna get your proofing basket. You're gonna grab this guy. So this is the pretty side up. This is the not so pretty side up. We're gonna plop it in there. Give it a little bit more pinch if you want. This is the side that you're gonna be baking on the bottom anyway. No one's gonna see the bottom, so it's okay if it looks kind of funky. Then the same shower cap that you had, cover it, and it goes in the fridge for up to 12 hours. It can go up to 36 hours. The longer you leave it in the fridge, the more sour it's gonna be. I think the max might be 36, but again, there's 1,000 recipes out there. I only leave mine in there for maybe 12 hours and then it's ready to bake. So for now, I'm gonna go to sleep. See you in the morning so we can bake this baby. Okay, day 2, and I've let my bread.
That's what the finished product looks like, by the way.
Oh yeah, you're eating one of my other loaves.
Yeah, that's my breakfast.
I let my bread overnight proof in the fridge for about, let me see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh shit, 15 hours. Intense. So let's see what it looks like. Holy shit, this is huge.
Whoa, grew like crazy. Does it just keep growing?
It won't just keep growing, but it's science, baby. It's science.
Tell me about the science of it growing then.
This is not a science channel, so I'm not gonna tell you the science.
But why do you keep saying science then?
Because I told you I'm not gonna cover if it's science.
Okay.
But look at this bad boy.
Yeah, that thing's huge.
Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to let it sit because it's cold, so we have to let it sit in room temperature for about an hour, and then, yeah.
So at 11:42.
Yeah, or 12.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be that precise, but this thing is massive, huh?
That's what she said.
I've never said that.
Yes,
but
you did.
I've never said that.
You said, can it even fit? That's what you said. You said, don't hurt me.
With you?
Yeah, you said, you're not gonna hurt me, are you?
And then what'd you do? You woke up and you were like, ah, what a nice dream.
No.
Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna just let it sit out, room temperature, covered, leave it alone. Let it just kind of like thaw out a bit for about an hour. At this point, I don't know if you know how your oven works, but mine, for example, takes about 40 minutes to warm up. So I'll wait a bit and then I'll let it start heating up, but they're just drinking water. I saw your face.
They got thirsty out of nowhere.
But if not, like when I was baking at my mom's house, her oven is smaller, so it was like ready to rock in 30 minutes or less. Oh, it was you thirsty boy. And okay, yeah. So we'll just wait for it.
Okay.
So here's my bread from another batch. He thinks I'm gonna give it to him. It is so damn bomb. I like to freeze it to last a long time. And I've been reading online that it like increases the health benefits to it. So I do it, but mainly so that it lasts longer. And all I do is I pop it into my little oven for about 2 minutes, and it's just like crunchy and moist, and it tastes like it just came out of the oven, like freshly baked out of the oven. This is also an oven. But anyway, as we're letting your bread thaw out, you do want to have a Dutch oven. Again, depending on the recipe you're following, there's different ways that you can bake your bread. However, this is for beginners. I am trying to make it super easy for you, so just get a Dutch oven. You don't have to get a fancy one like this one because it is going to stain. If anything, they even prefer that you get something from like Home Goods or something. Doesn't have to be super fancy. It will all do the same because it's just cast iron. So if it's cast iron, you're good to go. What? So, very important step that you need to do is, let me grab this. Get your Dutch oven. And before you do anything with your oven, wait a second, I have no hands. You have to preheat your oven with the Dutch oven inside. Super, let me turn the light on. Super duper important that this happens. So, convection oven, we want it at 500 degrees, okay? Oh, I fucking hate this fancy shit. And then we start. So, we'll let that warm up. It's gonna take a minute. This line right here has to get, oh my God, there's like, oh my God, it's so blurry. But yeah, this line has to turn white all the way here for it to be ready. So it'll be perfectly timed. All right, an hour has passed and now it's the moment we've all been waiting for. It's baking time. So I was looking at both of my loaves. This one, I know it's kind of like a irregular shape. We're all used to our little circle shape. So instead of going with this, I don't want to intimidate you guys because again, this is for beginners. Let's go with our conventional round bowl, okay? I already pre-cut my parchment paper, but you do need parchment paper, and the way I measure it, I just put it around the bowl here and I'm like, okay, that fits. So nothing scientific, nothing crazy. And if you look back here real quick, whoa, you made a face. I already have my oven, it's ready to go, it's at 500, and the Dutch oven is in there already hot and ready to bake. So remember, this was the ugly side up. So we are going to make it nice and tight. Now flop it. Remove it carefully, just so that you don't tear anything, since there's a lot of...
Wow, that looks nice.
Thank you. There's a lot of like gas bubbles that tend to happen. If you yank it, it will rip. So let's just be careful. We're gonna get our all-purpose flour. I did get this little sprinkle, whatever this is called. It's a little duster. You don't need it. I just like to be fucking fancy, and I don't need to be. Sprinkle it on top. And now you're gonna score it. It doesn't change the flavor of your bread if you don't score it, but if you want an aesthetic looking piece of bread, I would highly recommend you score it so that when the bread on the inside is expanding and growing, it has room to go, or else it'll start exploding in weird places. Again, it won't affect the way your bread tastes, but just score it. So you can get fancy here, you can be basic, you can do whatever you want, but you want to cut the first, and you'll feel it when you're cutting into your dough. The first top layer is actually pretty thick. So you want to cut into it, and you kind of want to give it a deep gash.
You need a special knife for it?
Thank you. I bought a kit on Amazon, and it came with a little scoring razor.
So it's a special knife?
Yes, it's a little razor, but it's not like the kind of razor blades you would use. And then I like to do like a little leaf design or something. I don't get too fancy. I just like it to be a little bit cute. And this one I don't go as deep as I do this one.
That already looks really fancy.
Does it?
Yeah.
And I'm doing it really fast, so it's probably not gonna be super cute. And you don't, after you score it, you don't want it to sit too much because your bread does have a lot of gases in it. So if it stays out here, it's gonna get soft, all the gases are gonna come out of it, and it's not gonna have this really nice like dome rise to it. So you want to cut it right as you're about to put it in, which is what we're gonna do right now. So I'm gonna get my little meeting zone, pull this bad boy out. It's really hot, so put it somewhere that is not gonna burn down your house because it's fucking scorching. And then we're gonna throw this bad boy in there. Here we go. Sayonara. I do like to, because I like things to look really pretty. It will bend like this, and I don't like when my bread has dents in it. So I do try to press it down. Or another hack that I saw is you crumble up your parchment paper. I like that you're picking your nose as you're talking.
No, I'm not.
As you're recording.
No, I'm not.
Crumble up your parchment paper, and it should avoid all of that stuff. And I did wear it backwards. We're a funky, funny duo.
Just focus on yourself, okay?
True. And then it goes into your oven. Hey, I'm over here. For 20 minutes. So we're gonna leave it in there for 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, we remove the lid. We add it for another 15 minutes, and we're ready to eat it. Okay, thank you. Hey Google, 20-minute timer.
Sure, 20 minutes. And we're starting now.
Okay, so my timer went off, and now what I like to do is I like to switch the temperature from 500 to 450. And now, I'm just gonna remove the lid. Ooh la la, look at that. Ooh, she's beautiful. Put this here because we don't want it to burn. And we close it. We leave her in there. Hey Google, 15-minute timer.
Got it. 15 minutes. And that's starting now.
And after the 15 minutes, you're done. That's it. You've made your first batch of sourdough. Your bread is done. So here we go. 15 minutes later, we got our loaf. Oh my God.
Wow, look
Every
at that.
time, it's such an interesting shape. I don't ever know what shape is gonna come out.
Can I touch it?
This is, you can, I mean, it's gonna be hot.
Oh, it's like a hard shell.
It's gonna be hard, yes. I'm glad, oh, don't do that.
That tasted delicious with my fingers. I could taste the crunch.
Well, it's not gonna be like that. So when you first pull it out of the oven, it's gonna be hella hard. And you're gonna be like, oh, I messed up my bread. But you did not.
No, because you just toasted it.
It needs to crack. It needs to set to your room temperature.
Oh, it's gonna keep cracking right now?
It's gonna start cracking. It's gonna start talking to you.
What's cracking?
Yep. It's gonna start talking to you, and then why would you lay down? Are you trying to kill me?
Look at his big tail.
Yeah, so don't get discouraged when you feel it. When it first comes out of the oven, it's gonna feel rock freaking hard.
Oh
That's
yeah,
okay.
that's what she said. What the?
You turned that on. Yeah, it's gonna be
turned
rock
you on.
freaking hard, but maybe like 10 to 15 minutes into it, you'll hear the, like you could already start hearing it crack now. You'll, after all the cracking happens, then it's gonna be like super pillowy soft. Yes. So we'll wait till that part.
Can
you hear it?
I
Can you hear it?
think I just heard something.
You can hear it. This is what I'm talking about. The bread has been sitting here for no more than like 10 minutes. And look at this. Now, she is crunchy and soft. Loaded. She's gonna be delicious. It's the moment of truth. So the round loaf, this guy, remember you pressed it? Look at it now.
Let me see. Whoa.
Yeah, so it's good. It sounds hollow. That's what you want. You want it to feel light. If it feels heavy and dense, then the chances of it being raw on the inside is highly possible. But if you followed this step by step, you should be good to go, okay? So I'm actually giving this one away. This is the other one I did. This one got really massive. This is the one that I did in the oval basket.
Oh, I see, yeah.
This one's huge. So I'm giving this guy away. So we're gonna cut this one. Same thing, you see, nice and soft. Oh, it's still slightly warm. You wanna try it, Papa?
Yeah.
So Papa for Christmas was super puny. He got me a bread knife. Make sure to get a bread knife. I never owned one. I was using this one. But I realized this is to cut ham. Did you know that?
Well, I know it's for meats.
Okay, well I didn't know jack shit.
Like big ol' like prime ribs.
Yeah, so if you don't have one that's serrated like this, then it is just gonna smash the shit out of your bread. So thank you, Papa.
Welcome.
Here we go. It cuts it like butter. Look at this. Ooh, smells good. You want the end piece?
Yeah, I'll
Or
take
you
that
want
piece.
this piece?
I'll take that piece.
Okay, we'll taste it together.
Oh, it's warm.
It is. I think this might be my best loaf.
It's really good. It's better than the San Francisco place.
No way.
Yeah.
It's not better than San Francisco.
It is. Way better. You
No
want to
way.
have sex tonight or no?
Okay, so on that note, changing the subject really quickly.
It is better than the San Francisco, but I promise. Do you want to have sex tonight?
Shut up.
Or no?
So I'm gonna cut it.
My San Francisco place way better.
Cut it into slices. Let it cool off completely. Put in a Ziploc bag. Don't overcrowd your Ziploc bag, okay? Because then they will get stuck and then they're fucked. We're not.
The San Francisco place is better.
I knew it. And then put it in the freezer. And that's kind of it. Do you have any questions, Papa?
No questions.
But look at this.
It's really, really yummy. Really, really good.
Okay, I'll leave all the information, everything I bought, the video that I followed so that you can get all the science behind it in the description below. If you like this content, let me know. Also, just a kind of heads up, Taika has been wanting to make pizza at home. We did try a recipe, we liked it. So that's one of the next videos that's coming your way. Until then, thank you guys so much for watching.